Some days, the hardest thing isn't what's happening around you. It's the quiet pressure inside, the one that whispers. Keep smiling. Don't fall apart. People are watching. Be okay. But what if today, you're not? What if you woke up feeling like your chest was too tight to breathe? What if your thoughts have been spinning since morning? What if, no matter how hard you try, you just feel off? There's something exhausting about pretending. It drains you in ways you don't even notice, until you're lying in bed, eyes wide open, wondering why even resting feels like effort. Pretending to be okay can look like saying, "I'm fine," when your voice wants to crack. Laughing when your chest feels hollow. Going to work, replying to messages, checking boxes. All while quietly unraveling inside. We've all been taught that vulnerability is dangerous. That breaking down is weakness. That we should be strong, whatever that means. But strength isn't silence. Strength isn't hiding your pain in smiles. Strength is honesty, even if it's messy. Even if it scares people. So if today is a bad day, and you feel like the whole world expects you to keep it together, I want you to know, you don't have to pretend. Not with me. Not here. Not now. You're allowed to feel tired. You're allowed to not have the words. You're allowed to just be. If your heart is heavy, let it be. If your mind is loud, let it speak. If your soul is quiet, let it rest. This space isn't about fixing you. It's about holding you, just as you are, even if today, that version is broken, confused, numb, or aching. And I promise, you are still worthy, even in this. We often think hiding our struggles protects us, protects others from worrying, protects ourselves from judgment. But what we rarely ask is, what is the cost of hiding? The truth is, when you constantly tell the world, "I'm fine," the world forgets to ask if you're hurting. When you carry everything silently, people assume you have nothing to carry. And slowly, quietly, you disappear, behind your own mask. Maybe that's why some nights feel lonelier than they should. Maybe that's why even when you're surrounded, you still feel unseen. Because people can't meet the version of you you're hiding. Pretending becomes a habit. And soon, we don't even know what real feels like anymore. We become too afraid to reach out. We minimize our own feelings. It's not that bad. I should be grateful. Other people have it worse. But pain doesn't need to be compared to be valid. Tears don't need permission to fall. You don't need to earn rest. What would happen if you didn't pretend? What if you told someone, "Today is hard"? What if you let your voice tremble when it needs to? What if you showed your scars instead of hiding them? You might be surprised. You might feel seen. You might finally hear someone say, "Me too." Because truth builds bridges. Vulnerability creates space. And in the quiet honesty of, "I'm not okay," you open a door for love to walk in, not for the mask, but for you. The real you. And you are more lovable than you've ever believed. You've spent so much time trying to hold it together. For others, for work, for survival. But maybe the greatest relief doesn't come from fixing everything. Maybe it comes from allowing yourself to fall apart, without shame. Healing isn't loud. It doesn't always look like breakthrough moments or life-changing clarity. Sometimes, it looks like sitting with your feelings. Sometimes, it's letting yourself cry in the shower. Sometimes, it's letting your chest rise and fall, and calling that enough. You are allowed to begin again. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Now. And you don't have to begin with strength. You can begin with softness. What would it look like to be gentle with yourself today? Could you speak to yourself the way you would speak to a friend? Would you let yourself sleep in, without guilt? Would you put your hand on your chest and whisper, "It's okay, you're safe now"? Because you are. Even when the world feels heavy. Even when the ache won't leave your chest. Even when no one else understands. You are still here. Still breathing. Still growing. Still worthy. Your pain doesn't make you less. Your softness doesn't make you weak. And your honesty doesn't make you hard to love. The truth is, you never had to pretend. Not to be loved. Not to be seen. Not to belong. Right now, as you are. Maybe tired, messy, undone. You are still enough. So, if today is a bad day, don't run. Don't hide. Let this be the moment you come home to yourself. Not to the version you think you should be, but to the one that's already here. Waiting patiently to be held. To be heard. To be allowed. And as you close your eyes tonight, may you remember, you never had to be perfect. You only had to be real. And real is already more than enough.